Clock is ticking and you are delivering. Welcome back, everybody. Scott Spradling with Greg Kretchmar here with New Hampshire Gives 2021. We are now in countdown mode. Just under 2 hours to go before we hit our 24-hour deadline for this year's New Hampshire Gives 2021. And as you can see from the ticker, Greg, unbelievable. We are at $3.1 million.
The level of amazement I can't even describe. But we were talking about it last night, and the phrase that kept coming up, from all of us was, and I think Kristen was the first one to say it. New Hampshire showed up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You showed up, and you showed up big, like you always do. I think better than, I think it actually, I'm going to say it, better than any state in New England, man. You can count on Granite Staters every single time there's an ask to help your neighbors, and you certainly did that. We're at 3 million and counting, headed toward 5 o'clock this afternoon. So
just great. Just great. 569 organizations have benefited from you thus far.
Yeah.
We still have a couple hours left. We have over 11,000 of you who have already donated. So as you can see on the screen, the countdown clock will stay there live with us all the way down to 5 o'clock when our 24-hour mark hits.
Yeah.
And now that we're in a new hour, as of right now, and maybe one of the reasons why the clock is, why the ticker is spinning so fast, we have a $20,000 match through New Hampshire Gives that is going on right now. And I think this bears repeating. We're going to say this over the course of the couple of hours because I know folks will click in, click out. But there is an additional $400,000 in separate match funds that are on the New Hampshire Gives page that are outside of the conversation that we're talking about, like this 20,000. If you jump on the website, go to menu, and then click on matches, you can see the different individual match campaigns that are happening associated with this. And there's still a lot of money available for you to be able to not just donate, but basically do it at half the rate.
Right.
Every dollar you give is going to be matched by somebody else. So there's still a lot of money available out there to match what you're doing to double your impact.
$400,000, a lot of money. So take a look around. And if there's on the front page, like Scott said, when you hit menu, take a look around at some of the nonprofits that are offering those kind of organizational matches. Find something that you care about. Find something that you're passionate about. We talked yesterday to some great organizations that deal with everything from, protecting victims of sexual abuse to animal shelters and arts and arts establishments. I mean, there's a million different things. So check and see what you care about, what you're passionate about, and give to the place you want to give to. That's one of the great things here is you're directing where your money goes.
Yeah.
You can choose something that's right across the street, maybe across town, or maybe a couple of towns over that hits something near and dear to your heart.
You bet. So let's bring you up to speed on what we're going to do for the last couple of hours. We have a number of live guests that will join us via remote on the web, talking about their causes, what they do, and obviously asking for some last few donations. We have some videos to be able to showcase, which, Greg, they've been really impressive. These are great storytelling videos that really get to the heart of what some of these wonderful organizations do, some of whom I'd never heard of before sitting in this chair with you on this event.
Yeah, we got a lot of special stuff. Scott is going to do a special cabaret right here on the stage in the New Hampshire Public Broadcasting Studios.
Lay amongst the confetti.
He's been practicing for months, and you're going to get to see it.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. There's a send up, and we do have one special guest, relatively high profile gentleman who will be joining us in about 45 minutes from now.
Right.
And so a good friend of ours that may help maybe grease the skids.
You might even see a special last-minute musical performance, actually, that was sent to us from our friends in the Adam Ezra group, who has been great.
Yeah, we're going to make time for that one because it's a cappella and there's harmonies. That's the kind of stuff we love.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely in on that. But in the next couple of minutes, we will start with our first live remote conversation. And again, we just want to make sure that you're recognizing that you can jump into the main pool of New Hampshire Gives and find a charity of your choice. But you can also look on that sidebar, different matching funds organizations, because those dollars do remain available as we tick down just under 2 hours.
One of the things I'm really impressed with is you start with a large number that, to me, when I first heard about it, I'll be honest with you, I was intimidated by it. 600 nonprofit organizations. How do you raise money for that many organizations? You have given to 570 of 600 organizations. That's astounding. That is an unbelievable, there's such a big number of organizations that do, such a cross-section of work, and 570 are going to get money from NH Gives today. And hopefully by the end of the next couple hours, that number will go up even further. There's been 11,000 of you, 11,600, as you can see, 53 people have donated. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you get this deep into numbers like that, you can't lose appreciation for that's one person at a time, right? One person makes goes online and makes that donation, and then the number starts to tick. 11,000 people chose yesterday at some course during the day or the night last night to help out, to make a difference, to put food on a plate, to make sure that a theater stayed open and offered arts and entertainment for a local, local community. All of these things that get put together kind of bind our communities together. These nonprofit organizations are the fabric that our communities are interwoven with. That's what keeps us together and binds us all.
I'm in a bewildered state of awe about the way in which they can use these dollars and stretch them so brilliantly so that the kind of purchasing power that they have for programs, for items that they need, whether it's the New Hampshire Food Bank and taking $1 and making 2 meals out of $1 because of how they're able to make their investments and purchases. The partnerships are a wonderful alliance that they have. And so the investment that you're doing, that's why what we've been saying all along is that the size of your donation really doesn't matter as much as just giving, because these men and women know exactly what to do with these resources. And it's inspiring, it's impressive, and it's a great practice. So, and it really does cover the cross-section of the different services that they have and the different things that they do for people. And it's wonderful. And we are thrilled to be able to start telling some of those stories again in just the next couple of minutes as we await our first guest.
I was driving home last night at 9 o'clock or a little after 9 o'clock, and I was thinking about how inspired I was by hearing the stories of the people that we talked to, people that some I had met and some I had never met. And the enthusiasm and the love for what they do, it jumped off the screen. It really did. There were a couple times yesterday, I'm not even afraid to admit that I got misty-eyed because you could feel it just coming through them, and you can't
Carrie
fake
Norton
that.
with holding the baby with Hope on Haven Hill.
You can't fake that, that is as real as it gets, and that's the result of the call that you made. I mean, the going online and making a donation. That's the result of you. So thank you very much for everything you did yesterday.
I actually heard from Carrie afterwards. She messaged me this morning and said the young ladies that were involved in that talk back with us were so deeply inspired and appreciative of the donations and just being a part of it.
Yeah.
It's just great.
It's a great way to spend the night.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we kick into our first conversation here?
Okay.
Let's go live via the interwebs to Iain MacLeod. He's the Executive Director of Squam Lake's Natural Science Center over in Holderness. There he is. Iain, how are you today?
I'm good, Scott. How are you? Good to see you.
We're doing great. Greg and I are already having a good time, and we'd love to chat with you now for a couple minutes about a little bit about what you do. I know that Squam Lakes is an absolute magnet for nature and outdoor lovers. You have some amazing things and plant life, animals, things on display for people to check out. Tell us a little bit about what they would experience coming through your gates.
Exactly, yeah. So the Squam Lakes Natural Science Center's mission is to advance understanding of ecology by exploring New Hampshire's natural world. We do that through a number of different ways. Probably what we're most known for is the trail here in Holderness. It's about a 3/4-mile exhibit trail where we have a large collection of native New Hampshire wildlife. All of these animals are here because they can't be in the wild for some reason. They're either injured or imprinted or born in captivity or orphaned. And we're able to give them a home. These are native New Hampshire wildlife. So we have things like mountain lions and bears and foxes and white-tailed deer, a whole selection of raptors and owls, fish, mink, you name it. Just about anything that you can see in your backyard here in New Hampshire, we have here in our collection at the Science Center. And people are able to come, they're able to walk, experience these animals up close. In our exhibits, learn about them, learn about their lives, how they survive, how they interact with each other, their habitats, etc. In addition to that, we do a wide variety of programs. We have a whole other collection of animals that goes on the road with us, with our naturalists. We could literally take a porcupine to your Kiwanis Club, or to a television station or whatever it might be, to schools all over the state. So it's sort of no better way for children, for all people of all ages, to find out about these animals, to see them, to hear them, to smell them up close and personal, and that's really what we do every day.
Iain, did you find that during the last year, so many folks that we talked to yesterday sort of had to, I wouldn't say reinvent themselves, but sort of pivot in how they did things so they could still reach the community? Did you guys have to do that last year? If so, how did you do that?
We did, and I hope that I never have to use the word pivot again.
I know.
It's just an awful word. But anyway, it was a very different year for us last year. We were not able to open the trail until June 15th. Normally, we open up the trail May 1st. We had to cancel all of our school programs. Normally, we would have 10,000 kids coming here in May and June. We had to cancel all of those. Our Blue Heron School, we have this wonderful on-site year-round preschool and kindergarten. We had to close that and go virtual. And believe it or not, our teachers actually did Zoom calls with 3, 4, and 5, and 6-year-olds every morning, just trying to keep them involved with the school. We had a kindergarten class that needed to graduate, so they were sending work home with them. All of our naturalists had to learn how to do programs virtually. So they had to learn about cameras and lights and all the stuff that you guys have to work with, but that's not the way they learned how to educate people. We definitely had to pivot. Thankfully, this year is much more normal. We've still got a few, things that are overthrows from last year. We're still doing timed ticketing for the trail just to kind of control the numbers a little bit. But being an outdoor experience, we've been able to open up safely, and people are having a fantastic time. And it's great to welcome people back in still controlled numbers, but larger numbers than last year.
Iain, I know that you have so much exposure for the children to be able to, like you said, smell the animals and get outside and see what they look like in their natural habitat and learn about them. What comes of that from a young mind when you're able to expose them to these animals and to the plant life and to nature, to increase that level of understanding, of appreciation of their environment? What does that do in terms of their growth and appreciating it as adults?
Well, we hope that these will, some of the folks that come here are inspired for life. They'll have an experience here that just triggers a lifelong passion, a stewardship for the environment, for nature, for land. We sort of think of our preschool kids who get this, year-round exposure. When they leave here, they are so comfortable in the woods. They are the leaders within their families when they come here. They know every critter. They know about insects and bugs and spiders, whatever it is. So they just, hopefully that'll be something that will inspire them in the future. We know that we do have kids who've, come to a program here, who have become interns, who have now, set about a career in environmental education or in conservation. And so, it doesn't, if there's just a few stories like that where people have that lifelong connection, then that's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do.
And taking what Scott said and kind of bumping it up to the adult level, I don't know about you guys, but if there was ever a year to give us a newfound respect and appreciation for being outdoors and nature, this last year kind of gave it to us, because, the governor did his home hike challenge. So many people were seeking, sort of solace in the outdoors. That can only be a positive thing for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was so wonderful to see people just getting outdoors and experiencing. Of course, there was a little overexposure at times on some of the trails we heard about in New Hampshire, but certainly we've seen terrific response so far this year. People seem to be so excited to be outdoors, to be seeing the wildlife, to be experiencing. We've got a brand new exhibit this year about raptors, birds of prey, and people are just loving it. There's a lot of nice interactive features, as well as just being able to see these wonderful birds on display. And so, people are excited to be out, and we're happy to be open and happy to be sharing that with thousands of people who are coming to visit us.
I hope you have a great year.
Iain MacLeod, Executive Director of Squam Lakes Natural Science Center in Holderness. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful summer and enjoy the return of humanity to your gates.
Great. Thank you so much. And thanks so much to the community out there who are just making such a difference for so many great organizations. Thank you all.
Our pleasure.
Very nice.
So an hour and 45 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Our first live of what will be a handful of folks that will join us for these last couple of hours.
Yeah. This past year was, I think I spent more time outdoors. In places, away. When you couldn't be near anybody, I tried to find places that were outdoors. And, the trail system, whether it's at Squam Lakes up in that area in Holderness, or whether it's anywhere throughout New Hampshire, is an absolute godsend for folks like me to give us a place to go in the outdoors that really brings you back to nature, and it's good for the soul.
And one of the great things now about coming to the final stages and the final end of our pandemic situation and the limitations that have been a part of our daily lives for so many weeks is that we can start getting back to some of the indoor attractions and museums and really cool places around New Hampshire that you may or may not know about. Some are very high profile, some are hiding in plain sight, if you will. And there's one spot right in Londonderry. In fact, it's at our airport, the Londonderry, Manchester, Boston area regional airport. I think I just added a whole bunch of titles to that.
That's okay.
But at the airport, there's a really, really cool museum. It's the Aviation Museum of New Hampshire. Technically, it's in Londonderry. And they sent us a video to showcase a little bit of what they're able to welcome people to come back to do.
Hi there. I think we're alone, so I'm going to remove my mask and introduce myself. My name is Jeff Rapsis. This is the Aviation Museum of New Hampshire at Manchester Boston Regional Airport, and you've just seen a little bit of what we offer visitors who come here on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays all year round to see what we have to entertain visitors from around the world. But we're more than just a museum. We have an educational outreach program that affects thousands of students across the state of New Hampshire. We have programs that reach into middle school and high school. We bring aviation professionals right into classrooms to help augment STEM learning activities, take them out of the classroom and talk about real-life applications. How do these kids get into aerospace? It all starts with someone showing them how it works, and our outreach program is designed to do that in schools throughout New Hampshire. So we're a lot more than a museum. It's very important that we preserve the great heritage of aviation in New Hampshire, which includes such famous people as Alan Shepard and Krista McAuliffe, and other people you may not have heard of, like the great balloon pioneer Thaddeus Lowe, who helped the Union win the Civil War back in the 1860s. We tell these stories here at the Aviation Museum. We encourage you to come visit us, and we want to thank the folks at New Hampshire Gives for the opportunity to tell a little bit about our story.
How cool was that video?
Jeff gets the jaw-dropping Greg Kretchmar Videography Award for that drone shot. That was really impressive.
Impressive drone work. Nicely done.
That's good stuff.
You'd expect that, nothing less from the Aviation Museum.
Nothing at all.
Nicely done.
By the way, Aviation Museum of New Hampshire is a little footnote. The only museum in New Hampshire devoted to aviation history in our state, and it is housed right in their first terminal before they opened the new one. It's in the old one that was built in 1937. So
just take a
great showcase.
A quick second to thank just a few of the folks that have been chiming in at nhgives.org. Kathy and Don McDonough, thank you very much. They gave $250 to Symphony New Hampshire. Always great to hear live music performed in a venue. Lynn Sheldon and Ben Steele, $250 to Waypoint. As we all know, Waypoint doing great work. Harold Judd, thank you. A $500 very generous donation to Catch Neighborhood Housing. James Batten, $100 to the Capital Region Food Program, and Andrew Bagley, $25 to the Chase Home for Children. Just kind of exhibiting not only the different amounts that people are giving, but the different causes that they're giving to. There's such a broad spectrum, 600 to choose from, and that you're just so great. So thank you very much for those donations.
So we started in Holderness, about right here.
Yeah.
And then came down to Londonderry, about there.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go over to West Lebanon.
It's over there.
Yeah, it's somewhere
Scott,
over that way. The Lebanon, Claremont, Newport area.
Yep.
So I'd like to welcome to our live broadcast Roger Osmun. Dr. Roger Osmun. He's the president and CEO of West Central Behavioral Health, locations in Lebanon, Claremont, and in Newport. Dr. Osmun, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what your program does for folks in the western part of our great state.
Sure. West Central Behavioral Health is a community behavioral health organization. We're one of the 10 centers in the state of New Hampshire. So we predominantly serve Sullivan County and Lower Grafton. So basically the full range of mental health, substance abuse treatment services, psychotherapy, psychiatric care, case management, supported employment, housing support, residential care, peer support, and things of that nature. We most recently, even in the middle of the pandemic, we rolled out medication-assisted therapy for people with opiate addictions. The pandemic, as you can imagine, has just accentuated the need for our services. And, our ability to staff all the referrals that we had prior to the pandemic was a challenge. It's even more of a challenge now as people are finding the need to reach out for support.
One of the things that I read was one of the things that's great about your organization is, it's always a worry when someone has to reach out for help because they're always concerned of, how am I going to pay for it? Right. And one of the things that I've read about is you guys is that, regardless of their ability to pay, you try to offer support to all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially I think during the pandemic when the increased need, the Medicaid population has probably become a much bigger part of our client base, but we do nearly $600,000 in charitable care that, and that's why, charitable contributions are so important to us as an organization so that we can continue to do that, meet the needs of people in the community.
It seems like we've come such a long way in recognizing mental health issues and concentrating. We still have a way to go, but it seems like much more so nowadays it is recognized, it's accepted as something that needs attention and help, and we are moving in the right direction, although I'm sure everybody who's associated with it thinks we could do better and move faster, but we are slowly getting in there. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been in the profession for 27 years. I've seen the stigma really be reduced. And I think that's important, that people can reach out and hopefully reach out for help earlier, before things really become a crisis. But, on that note, the state's really taken a big step forward. West Central, we're staffing up to roll out next month is 24/7 mobile crisis services. The idea, it doesn't matter how big or small the crisis is, rather than waiting until you have to be hospitalized, calling us 24/7 at 2:00 in the morning, we can have a team that can come out to your home, to your place of work, to your school, to intervene while it's still a very manageable issue. So I think as the stigma gets reduced, I'm hoping that, people in the community really do reach out for this new service in a very positive way.
Roger, 2020 was obviously the year of COVID, but I'd say it was probably also the year of everything, telehealth, and using our technology to connect with people. Do you foresee being able to continue that kind of thing? Will that make your job easier and make the connections easier with people through into the future?
Telehealth existed before the pandemic, but it threw us into a hook, line, and sinker. We had to figure out how to make it work for everyone. Fortunately, the state legislature has passed a bill last year that really expanded, offered equity for, reimbursement for telehealth, removed some of the barriers so that we could even do this post-pandemic. So we're trying to figure out how to find that balance. It's been fortunate for many people who, whether transportation or other factors coming in on a regular basis may have been a challenge. So now they can connect from their home, and I know we'll find a nice balance between the in-person versus the telehealth.
Yeah.
Roger Osmun, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for serving your constituents in your area, and the very best of luck. And as Greg said, when you're taking services, regardless of people's ability to pay, I can't think of any better incentive for people to give to your organization.
Bravo.
Log on to New Hampshire Gives. But Roger, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your time.
You got it. Take care. So we're already clicking in on only 95 minutes to go.
It goes by too quick.
It does.
It goes by too quick. The numbers are flying by, and the counter there. Whoever's in charge of that counter needs to get a raise. That's insane that they're typing so quickly. It is unbelievable.
Dizzying. Just dizzying.
We're hearing from so many different people as we head toward the 5 o'clock hour. Like, I know we have the special guest that's going to be joining us here, but the fact that this has been going for almost 24 hours now is mind-boggling to me.
It's
you know, that there were
fantastic.
donations still coming in the middle of the night.
Right.
When we left here last night, it was 1.7. When I got this morning, you know, I checked, it hit 2 million, I think just before 7 o'clock or whatever. And it just keeps happening and happening. And don't forget what Scott said earlier. If you're on the website and you go to the menu and you can click down, you can see that there are a lot of organizational matches that are available that we haven't even employed yet, all right? And there's up to $400,000 of organizational matches. So if you go to the website, click menu, and you can choose the organization where one of those matches is being offered, then you can double your donation. You can find a cause, you can find a place that you care about, and your $20 becomes $40. And when that happens to 10 people, that number just jumps. So please do go on the website and look for the organizational matches under the menu.
That's right. And let's take a minute and spotlight another really incredible organization. I think it's the stories that really help propel the interest in donating. And we've got a video from some friends of ours, a great mentoring program, one that you know very, very well. But let's reintroduce you to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Hi, everyone. This is Stacy, CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of New Hampshire, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to share with you some of the great, extraordinary outcomes of our program. Our programs are evidence-based, and really all that means is that what we do works, and we can prove that. We conduct surveys, and we talk and outreach with all of the children that participate in our program, as well as their parents, guardians, school personnel, mentors, and 92% of the kids in our program report having a better attitude about school. They're also getting the same or better grades since being in our program, which is extraordinary. 82% of kids also have greater educational expectations, which means that they're participating in school, they're not truant, that they're thinking about what are the next steps that come in life. Am I going to go to a trade school? Am I going to go to a college or a community college? Am I going to join the workforce? And how can our programs help and support kids into that next phase of their life and give them the skills that they need? One of the great outcomes I'd love to share is that 89% of children in our program can identify at least one very important person in their life. That is so critical and really the cornerstone of our mission, which is creating and supporting one-to-one mentoring relationships. That's what we do. And it's not just about sticking two people together, the first people that come in to mentor or a child that comes in, but it's about making the right match so that every child has somebody in their corner.
Knowing that I'm a positive role model for my little, I feel like it means a lot more than I expected it to.
So to have representation, especially a real live person who can show them what their potential is, that's really powerful. And I wish I had had that when I was a kid.
He looks like me when I was little. It was just cool, like almost seeing your younger self and just thinking about what was possible.
Big Brothers Big Sisters of New Hampshire, that's a great mentoring organization.
Absolutely.
They do great work. We are going to actually meet one of our other friends here. We're going to bring on through the magic of the internet. We're going to introduce you to, from the Gibson Center for Senior Services up in beautiful North Conway, New Hampshire, we say hello to Marianne Jackson. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, nice to see you.
You too. I feel like I'm waving like I don't have to wave, but it's a natural instinct for me.
COVID habit. There we go.
There you go. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. And I know the Gibson Center for Senior Services up in North Conway does a really great job when it comes to our seniors in helping them stay in the homes that they're in. Let's talk a little bit about that. And for the people that may not have heard about what you do, let's give them a little bit of a background. Let's tell the folks what you guys do.
Oh, the Gibson Center has been around for over 40 years and started off with meals coming out of a church basement and then the hospital. And now today we have a beautiful dining room, congregate meals, and Meals on Wheels. We do about 50,000 meals a year, all with volunteer drivers who make the routes and knock on the doors and say hi to folks who are homebound and make sure they're doing well, give them the newspaper, check in on them besides giving them that nutritious meal. We do transportation with our buses and vans that move around and take people to medical appointments, as well as the barbers and the hairdressers, and get them to church and the libraries and the post office. And so transportation and meals are two of the biggest things, but programs and social events are the other.
All of those things that you were just talking about are part of the things when it comes to our seniors. Like parents, like my parents are older, obviously, but let's speak to the independence of our senior citizens, that they want to be independent, and right, and through your work, it allows them to maintain that independence and quality of life, right? That's a big deal.
So I think you got two parts there. The independence says, yes, I can make it in my home by myself. But the quality of that existence has been so, we've become so aware of it during COVID, how important it is that people are connected, that don't feel the isolation and the separation from the rest of the larger community. They've been really far away from their families. So one of the things we did was started an Equip, Train, and Connect program to give away free computers, give them free training to get up and running with email, with Zoom and telehealth, so that those people who were isolated didn't have to feel disconnected. The quality of being able to know that people still care and value you is as much of what we're about as specifically the being able to just stay at home. Right. You know, that it's so much more than that.
And your services, Marianne, must have been a lifeline over the course of the last year and a half, where isolation was the new norm for all of us, and especially for these folks that might have needed these services and the extra hand out to be able to maintain that healthy independence. How did you do it?
Well, we had to pivot a lot because we had to close our doors, except for the Meals on Wheels that went out. But it meant pivoting really fast and recognizing who did and who didn't have Zoom. Our staff and program director and volunteers made over 5,000 points of contact to people to make sure that they knew by voice, phone, that they were known. We sent out a lot of birthday cards, a lot of activity letters. We did a lot of the kind of distance things you have to do when your doors are shut. We are just now opening up and having exercise class out on the lawn, putting the picnic tables out and encouraging people not to bake in the sun because it's a little hot this week, but to come and to be there on the grounds and to join us here in the space. It's been a real challenge because, I mean, on March 13th, we just suddenly had to close the doors and rapidly pivot and ask the staff who were used to doing one set of services and programs and outreach in a very successful way, and suddenly had to ask them to do it differently. And they did it beautifully. So I cannot be more grateful for the staff that we have here because of their dedication to being able to say, okay, but I'm not leaving anybody behind.
Marianne, now that we have now we're into the period where we definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel, for lack of a better way to say it. You know, are you seeing that renewed human connection? Can you see the joy on the faces of some of our seniors? Because I can imagine, like when I got together with my parents after such a long time, you know, face to face, it was crazy.
It's just beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful to watch. And so, I mean, I can tell you that a weekend ago, when it was 43 degrees and rainy, we had our craft fair out on the lawn. And you would have thought it was the best 4th of July day. There were crowds of people. Everybody was hugging. I mean, we were still, you know, suggesting masks, but people were still so glad to come out and see each other.
That's great. So, that's wonderful work. That is wonderful work. Thank you so much.
I think we're going to have the rebound is going to be okay. But I'll tell you what I'm concerned about is that during COVID, there was a lot of ageism, meaning we acted like seniors were the liability to the larger community. You know, COVID wouldn't be so bad if we didn't have all those old people. And then unfortunately, that was a lot of the perception through the reporting. You know, oh, it's just those people.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of work to do to undo that myth, that stereotype. So we are doing the costume things, we're doing the parades, we're doing the things that demonstrate we are full of vitality. We are not the liability, we're an asset. We're part of what really, if you look at your donors, I will bet you a large majority of them are over age 55 or 60.
Yep.
So
our seniors,
our older folks.
Our seniors are the reason we're here.
That's right. That's right.
They're our heritage, and we should treat them with that kind of respect. Lovely to get a chance to meet you, Marianne. Wonderful job. Please do carry on, and all the best to you, and I hope you have a booming 2021.
Thank you, and thank you so much for what you're doing.
You're welcome. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care, Marianne.
Marianne Jackson from the Gibson Center for Senior Services in North Conway. And, you know, what she talked about is think about that. You know, like I can speak about my parents. You know, we live one town away, and we spent a year on video or talking through a window. Right. You know, and to have that human connection and see their face light up is, you can't put a price tag on that. And that's the kind of organization your money can go to help. No doubt. If you make a donation today at NH Gives. Yeah. You know?
So I feel so good to be on the other side of some of these these healthcare challenges. Tell you what, let's shift to the capital region for our stay. We have another video that we can show you as we wait for our next live guest to be able to talk to us. In Canterbury, New Hampshire, if you didn't already know, Canterbury Shaker Village exists, and it is an amazing step back into time to look at maybe a simpler time, a certainly more artistic time,
Such
and
a beautiful
really
space.
Impressive place.
Yeah, beautiful place.
So let's take a look at that video now.
You know, Scott, as a guy that gets out around the state with a camera and takes a lot of pictures, I've taken a lot of pictures at Shaker Village in Canterbury, and I'll tell you, that is a place that when you walk through it, you can feel it. Yeah. It has a feel to it, it has a vibe to it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place that they've done amazing work, and you can feel the history. You know, just walking through and seeing the buildings and without even going in them, and you can go in them, but it's an amazing resource, I think, for a lot of folks in New Hampshire. If you have not been to Shaker Village, Canterbury Village, you should go.
You absolutely need to. Yeah. Good endorsement there. Let's move back to the North Country for our next live guest to be able to talk to us. I'd like to bring in Melanie Luce, who's the executive director of White Mountain Trail Collective. Melanie, hi. You look like you're out. It's great to see you. Good, solid internet connection. Tell us a little bit about the White Mountain Trail Collective. What do you do up there?
Of course. So the White Mountain Trail Collective is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we, of course, New Hampshire Gives, of course. We also are a collective impact model organization, so meaning we get a lot of direction from our partners on what we do. And basically what we do in a nutshell is we support trail maintainers, we support sustainable trail systems.
And you've been in business now doing your thing for only about 4 years. You're on the newer end of the spectrum for this kind of work, right?
We're babies. We're a baby organization. Yeah, so we actually formed in 2017, but we've only been a nonprofit since 2019. We did our first project on Crawford Path in 2018, and then finished that project in 2019, and then last year did a ton of projects, rebuilt Glen Ellis Falls, did some work at Cathedral Ledge, and then this year we have a ton of projects that actually just kicked off on Monday.
I will say, coming off of the year 2020, with the governor, I just was referencing a little earlier about the Home Hike Challenge and people going out and taking to the trails. I've been out on those trails, and the work that you do, I can tell you just from my perspective alone, I don't know if I've ever been more appreciative of anything than the work that the folks that go out there, not only the stewardship of the trails and the maintaining of the trails, but actually going out there and making sure that they're passable for the average person. That's the goal, right? And it is by no means an easy physical task to get some of those, the boards, the planks, whatever. It is an amazing amount of work that goes into it. It's got to be backbreaking, I imagine, correct?
Well, thankfully, no one's broken their back
but
yet.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
We'll stay figurative.
Figurative speech.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's intensive, laborious work. And I wish, Greg, I wish it was just boards and planks. A lot of what we do is moving and splitting large rock, because we had just have a rocky terrain in the White Mountains. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of what we're dealing with. Mm-hmm.
Did you find that, there was an increase of people over the last year that were out on the trails and using the trails and loving being outdoors?
Just a few.
Yeah.
Just a few.
A little bit of a downtown traffic jam of feet.
Yeah, something like that. Overwhelmed trailheads, overwhelmed trails, just the resources in general. But, I guess if anything good came out of COVID, it just shone this amazing spotlight on what an amazing place we live in and what we have outdoor recreationally, and the importance of protecting that resource.
Right. And so once that evens out, right, and things kind of get back to normal and there's a wider array of things to do, the people that were out in the woods maybe for the first time in 2020 are much more likely to come back and enjoy the outdoors in the White Mountains, right?
Yeah, once you catch that bug. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get rid of it.
Amen.
So, Melanie, what do you need as we're raising funds for folks? You're obviously out there taking care of the trails. What do you need?
Well, we need funding for sure. Right now, we're facing, just in the White Mountain National Forest alone, we have a $35 million backlog maintenance need for trails. So that means we have that much work to do just to get the trails to where they need to be sustainable, to continue to exist. So funding, volunteers, of course, tools, supplies, stewardship is aging out. It's traditionally, retired folks that can get out and maintain trails. So getting some younger folks, like Greg said, it's back-breaking work. So some more younger, able-bodied folks would be appreciated as well.
So I read a stat. Is the stat true? Is it you put like 22,000 hours of work into some of the trails?
Yeah, since 2018 we have. Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. Yeah. That is a lot of work.
Well, I will say, I will speak for all of the people that have been out there enjoying the trails in the White Mountain region. Thank you to you. Thank you to the trailblazers, as I call them when I'm out. Thank you to the people that have done that backbreaking work. I greatly appreciate your work. You keep us in touch with the great outdoors that is in the Granite State. So thank you to all of you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And anytime you want to come volunteer, let me know.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
There. Melanie, thanks so much.
Melanie, thank you very much. I think I just got hooked into some cracking rocks.
I think so.
That's what
there
I'm going to be doing.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
What I'll do it. If I have to do it, I'll do it.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang.
How can I help? How can I help?
And for all seriousness, though, Greg, if you don't know, beyond just the morning radio show for Greg and the Morning Buzz, he's a very accomplished photographer who does a lot of really pretty nature photographs.
Thanks.
And you've gone up in those trails.
Oh, yeah. And it is what she said, what Melanie said is so true. It's once you get out there and you're out in, on an organized trail in the beautiful woods of whether it's the White Mountains or whether it's western New Hampshire, it's it's good for the soul. I've said that a couple times today, but it's one of those things, and especially in the year that we had, when you can go out and just sort of, get some exercise and be out in such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It really restores the peace inside you and reduces the noise of the world around. If you haven't done it, I can't recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We're going to actually ask Kathleen Reardon from New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits to join us here.
Kathleen to the stage, please. Yes, Kathleen. We can have Kathleen to the stage, please.
We don't want to bring her in for a few minutes here to talk a little bit about the effort to this point, as we have just over an hour. Kathleen, for the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, thank you for all that you're doing and for all of this wonderful work that's happening on behalf of so many nonprofits out there.
It's really amazing, and we are nearing the amount that we
Are we
raised
close?
last year. Yeah,
We're getting
around 3.4.
Is that right? And
Yeah,
we're almost at
getting really
3.3.
close,
That
and,
is fantastic.
That it's astounding.
It's
And-
wonderful.
And look, 12,000 donors.
Yeah, that's a lot of donors.
That is a lot of donors.
And you have your iPad with you. You can walk us through maybe just a little bit about these sort of side match offerings that are going on, right?
Organizational matches.
Thank you.
Donation
Thank you, Dr.
matches and
Kretchmar.
challenges, right? So you look on the menu and you look at the matches. So we've got McKim Board of Trustees, local match for Mount Kearsarge Indian Museum. They've only got $65 remaining of their $6,000 dollar match. Yeah, so there's all sorts of matches. You look at it, and the ones that have just a little bit of money remaining are listed first, and then you can keep scrolling down and find them.
great.
It's really cool.
You just go up into the menu section in the top right-hand corner of the screen, click on menu, and you see the drop-down menu, and click to the organizational matches, and it'll take you right there. It'll all be right in front of you.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. And at this point, we have now crossed the threshold of 12,000 donors. We're at just shy of $3.3 million raised in now just under 23 hours of effort, and 571 of the organizations that have joined this effort have now received some of your donor dollars. So this is just an amazing day and a really wonderful effort.
And one of the other things that's cool right now too is when you're seeing on social media, a lot of nonprofits are saying we're like $2,000 from our goal, we're 200 donors from or 100 donors from our goal. So people are so close, and we've got this last hour and 13 minutes to really keep on going strong and rally support, and people are responding and donating as we keep seeing that ticker going.
Yeah, this is the time when, through whether it's through the organizational matches or not, your donation can make a big difference. It can be the difference between hitting a goal or just missing it, right?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, certainly.
And many donors, like I said, or nonprofits are trying to get lots of new donors and get participation. So again, any amount you can give really matters.
There you go.
That's great.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll grab you back in just a few minutes. So I tell you what, why don't we have a little musical interlude?
Yeah.
Your friend Adam Ezra has been taking awfully good care of us.
Yeah, if you go to the NH Gives Facebook page, you can see a couple of videos that he's done, and over the weekend he does a lot of backyard shows they call gatherings, and he airs half of it online every night on Facebook at 7 o'clock, and the other half he does for the audience in the yard. And he was kind enough with his band members in the Adam Ezra group. They're just the nicest folks. They really care about giving back. It's part of who they are. It's part of their community. Their fan base is wonderful. And here's a performance of a song called Find a Way from the Adam Ezra group.
Check this out.
Hi, here I am again with my bandies, Poche, Alex, and Karina. We are in the backyard in Billerica, Massachusetts. We just finished a show. We've got a yard full of crazy people who just survived a little bit. And we've actually just been talking about NH Gives and how special we think what y'all are a part of is, and what an amazing impact y'all have. And so we're going to sing a song for you right now called Find a Way. Last night was a rocking one, tonight is coming soon. The rain keep falling heavy on my head. My brothers and my sisters holding hands and marching on is the only thing that gets me out of bed. And I may cross the River Jordan. I may face the rising tide. Well, I got a simple plan to get us through these stormy days. Hold on to each other, find a way. We got to hold on to each other, find a way. Yeah. We got the preachers on the left and the politicians on the right, and the news shouts panic everywhere we turn. But when the ones who talk the loudest, also petty, says the most, you better question what they're trying to make you learn. Yeah. And I may cross the River Jordan. I may face the rising tide. When their cards are on the table, there's only one good hand to play. Hold on to each other, find a way. Yeah. We got to hold on to each other, find a way. Well, I am marching for tomorrow, but sometimes I do despair. Then I don't possess the will to carry on. But my brothers and my sisters keep me tethered to the wheel, and I know they keep on singing when I'm gone. And I may cross the River Jordan. I may face the rising tide. Let our voices be a beacon until we live in better days. Hold on to each other, find a way. I said in our darkest hour, but this is what we must relay. Hold on to each other, find a way. Ooh, yeah, through the toughest hurdles, these ain't words of what we're gonna say. Hold on to each other, find a way. Ooh, we got to hold on to each other, find a way. We got to hold on to each other, find a way.
Adam Ezra.
There you go.
That's talent.
Good folks.
That's talent.
Good folks. Great friends and a great band. If you've never seen the Adam Ezra group, look for them, and they're going to be touring around and
in somebody's backyard.
Oh yeah, playing
Actually,
somebody's
back
backyard.
to the venue. Seriously.
Yeah, they're going back to the Tupelo. They're going to be playing there a bunch of places. But great folks, and thank you, Adam, for all of your support. We have a special guest. Yeah, we have a special guest who's shown up to support us. You're not going to do the turnaround thing and hide yourself and reveal yourself.
Oh, I like it.
All right, let's go. Let's go to the wide shot and show our guest, ladies and gentlemen. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu is here.
Thank you, guys.
How are you? Good to
I'm
see
great.
you, my
Good
man.
to see everybody.
Good to see you.
Yes,
I'm very excited.
Good to see you.
Look, we've got confetti still left on the floor from the celebration last night. There's more of that to be had, hopefully, if we continue on our path that we're going.
This is so much different than the State House, and it's awesome. It's
We can
great.
bring confetti guns to the
Maybe
State
that's
House.
what the State House needs, a little confetti to get some of the legislation and the budget done.
Just
you know?
warn state police because they're really surprisingly loud.
Yeah, they're
and some
very
are
loud.
frightening. Yeah,
Very loud.
We did not know that till yesterday.
So, Governor, here we are, 20-something hours in. We're knocking on $3.3 million, and 12,000 now. Granite staters or donors have come up. It's just another case, and you already know this. It's just another case, as Kristen was saying, of New Hampshire showing up.
Every time there's a call, every time, whether it's a crisis or just somebody in need, it could be a family in need, or today the state, right? The state's in need, and so many different organizations. We are a state of service. We always talk about that. We're very locally controlled, as neighbor to neighbor, community to community, and I think that kind of attitude is why, opportunities like this do so well, right? When you can put everybody together. It's not just about one group. Everyone gets to participate. I love the way the matching is working this year. I thought whoever came up with that idea is absolutely brilliant, because not just you get to throw confetti every once in a while, but everyone there's anticipation builds.
Right.
Oh, this group is coming up next. That group is coming up next. They've separated out regionally, and just to see the hundreds and hundreds of organizations that are benefiting, and like the amounts are huge.
Yeah, and there are still, we were talking about this earlier, if you go onto the website and click on the menu, there are still some organizational matches that the organizations are offering to people that donate to them that total up to $400,000 in addition of what's already being done.
And what's already been done is incredible. You're pushing on 3.3 million, this close to breaking the record. There's still about an hour to go.
Right.
Right?
That's right. Yep.
So if you haven't given, you got to give. Or, by the way, if you've given, thank you so much. Do it again.
Right.
Do it again. Go online. And what's really cool on the website, on the NewHampshireGives.org website, you can scroll down and see all these organizations that you're like, I didn't even know that existed.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was in my backyard. I want to help that group. And you can click on it and see their website. And in about 2 seconds, you can say, you know what? I still have some of that stimulus check from last year left over. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I'm going to put it to good use in my community.
You've been able to, over the last few weeks, remind everybody in some really fun, exciting ways that we're back in business, that things are opening up, and you know, you can get out, you can go to places, you can go inside to different places.
The guy woke up on a mountain in the Monadnock region, and he ended up going up Mount Washington, down Tuckerman's Ravine. He ended up fishing on the seacoast.
Yeah,
one
one day.
It was pretty awesome.
That's good show and tell.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was one of those things where I put a list, because everyone says so much variety within proximity. You can ski and fish and mountain bike and do all that in one day. And I said, but has anyone ever done it? So I made a list, and someone said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And they said, Governor, great idea, but that can't be done. And I said,
and yet?
You said the magic words. That is a challenge. And so we did challenge ourselves. But to your point, Scott, things are open. This is going to be a booming summer. It already is. I mean, the last couple of weekends, even with the rough weather we had over Memorial Day, it was still huge turnout by folks. If anything, we have a workforce issue, right? We're trying to get more people back into the workforce, which has gone phenomenally. But the sky is the limit here in New Hampshire. And we are blessed. It's something that I try to remind folks all the time. Not just in the country, we're doing better economically than almost anywhere else in the country, but even America as a whole, the world is still dealing with a worldwide COVID pandemic. We're just so far ahead of everybody else, even Canada, right? We're trying to open the border and get our Canadian friends down here, of course. I'm trying to share the vaccine. I'm like, I'll send you a vaccine if that's what it takes. But the point is, we are blessed. We're in a great position. Our economy is strong. Everyone has a couple extra bucks in their pocket right now, and this is exactly where it needs to go.
Also, because I think that when you talk about, everything's starting to open back up, life is starting to get back to normal. These nonprofit organizations, the over 600 that are available for you to give to today, are part of that fabric, part of that, the base of that whole, that whole house that is New Hampshire. And that's where we have to start. We have to start with the nonprofit organizations that deal with issues of mental health, that deal with homelessness, that deal with food insecurity, that deal with trail maintenance up in the White Mountains, that deal with animals and would deal with the victims of domestic abuse. And all of these wonderful things that do this great work are part of who we are as a state. And getting back to normal includes keeping them viable.
Absolutely. When we got a lot of CARES Act money last year, all the states did, which was great, and we put more than any other state, more than California or Texas or New York, we put it into our businesses and our nonprofits, and we created our nonprofit relief fund. And that was really to keep everybody, just like you said, viable, strong. We don't want anyone to basically go out of business. Nonprofits employ people as much as anybody else, right? And they're the fabric, as you said, of what we do. It isn't just, we pay our taxes, the government takes care of everything. That is not New Hampshire, and I'm saying that as the head of government. I mean, we're trying to be very nimble, and we lean into our local nonprofits. They make all the difference because we have connection with them. It's our friends and neighbors that are running them, our friends and neighbors that are helping operate. That's why we get so much volunteerism. Because, Jeff works at the SPCA. He asked me to go down and work a few hours this weekend. I guess I will. And then that gets around, and next thing you know, they're giving more money and doing more good.
I know you're a humble guy, but kudos to you and to so many folks around New Hampshire who really just sort of stuck with it. And the discipline, there was no rule book, there was no playbook. No. We were really winging it over the last 15, 16 months plus. And now here we are, like you're saying, getting ready to jump out into a summer of full activity, full exposure to one another, and being able to do the things that we're used to being able to do in a New Hampshire summer.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll take my 30 seconds and just say, I appreciate the kudos and all that, but it's team effort. I mean, everything we do in New Hampshire has to be about a team effort, and we had a great team up at the state level. And then when we started flexing things, even as March was tough, April was pretty tough, but into May and June, we leaned into the citizens, and they are the ones that responded. Right, that balance of we're going to keep ourselves safe with some of the disciplines and business restrictions or whatever it is, but we're also going to have an open economy. And to be able to walk that line was really tough. Remember, the epicenter of COVID at one time was Boston. And we're like the suburb of Boston, right? We're like the tax-free suburb. But 30 miles south of us at one point was the highest death rate of COVID. That's a scary thing. It was. And that was a lot of anxiety, and that's why everyone took a big pause. Yet we have one of the lowest death rates in the country. And I'm not hitting Massachusetts, God bless Charlie Baker. He did a great job down there, having to deal with an really, really impossible situation. But we had to write our playbook here. The citizens are the ones that really deserve the credit. That's why I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we get to kind of reap the spoils of it now. Not just with a strong economy, but to be able to give an extra $50 or whatever, or give an extra $100, or to lean into some of these nonprofits and make sure not only they're viable and surviving, they're thriving because they do so much.
Yeah, I think we're looking at, the like a Roaring '20s kind of situation. Not that I was alive during the Roaring '20s. I was close. I came in at the tail end. But the point is everybody is feeling like, yes, let's go. Let's go out. Let's get back to the restaurants. Let's go out. Let's enjoy a theater show. And there's so many, especially with arts and entertainment.
What are you looking forward to most? What's the one thing that you're waiting for?
Honestly, I've been seeing my parents and my family. But live entertainment has been such a big part of us.
You bet.
And what I've missed, and now to be getting back to it. And you've got all the venues like the Casino Ballroom and the Tupelo Music Hall and the Colonial Theater and the Capitol Theater all opening back up.
I got my tickets to the Bank of America Pavilion.
There you go.
For 2 shows.
There you go.
Chris Stapleton, we're going to go see him.
You're going to love him.
Hall & Oates.
Dude,
I'm so excited to see Hall & Oates.
So good. They got rained out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is their
One
comeback.
song,
Yeah, that's it.
Man-eater.
Did I hear a rumor that you got your boating license?
I was boating that day because we went, again, we hiked Mount Washington, we skied Tuckerman's Ravine, we went ATVing, we went camping, went mountain biking on the Abenaki Loop, went out to Winnipesaukee, was boating for a while, caught a bass. I was very excited. I went fishing and caught a bass, went paddleboarding in the Atlantic, and then jumped in. So, yes, I needed a boating license to do that.
Good for you, but that's impressive.
If you saw him, he had the Charlie Moore move. Charlie holds a fish right up to the camera, so it looks like this big. I saw you do that.
They said that. They go, hold the fish up, and I held it, and they said, no, push it at the camera so it looks bigger.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I have to stop things here for a second, okay? Because, like you, I'm transfixed on that number that's rolling across the top of the screen. That number is getting very, very close. 372,000. That's going to break last year's record. Yeah. Once we hit 300, and we're coming up. That's moving pretty fast.
We're about 33,000 away.
Governor, somebody is entering that hand. They're hand entering the numbers. Yeah, dude.
Really
no, seriously.
Look how fast it's moving. No one's like, come on, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
I've been marveling at it the whole time.
I believe everything that Greg tells me. So
it's getting there. So we're just a little ways away because you're making the difference. And every time that number moves, look at the numbers of donors that it keeps raising.
It's literally speeding up. I think people watch it go and they're like, oh wait, I can make it go faster.
There it is. We did it. You did it. You did it.
That is wonderful.
See, that's the beautiful thing in all of this. When we say about we, it's not us. It's not any of us or people behind the cameras. They don't want the credit. It's all you at home making wherever you may be, in a cafe, on your phone, watching this on a laptop
and
at work.
If I can, there's a lot of volunteers and helpers out here that don't.
There are. Absolutely. Thank you very much
to all of you for having put this together.
Last year, when they came to us and they said, hey, are you interested in doing this? And they told me what happened last year. I'm like, that's a huge number. Like, how's it going to happen? Right, exactly. And New Hampshire showed up again.
And you guys have done a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here, and it's inspiring and humbling to watch that 584, almost 600 organizations have received dollars. More than 12,000 donors have done this, and we're only 23 hours in. We got an hour to go.
I keep coming back to, it's one thing, like when we do our Lend a Helping Hand program, it's one thing to raise an amount of money and to say, wow, we raised a lot of money. But the real concentration is on the other end of that, when there suddenly is a meal on a plate where there was none before, or there is a show in a theater that was on the verge of closing, or there's a trail where you could walk through the White Mountains that is maintained and taken care of so that you can go out there. That's the joy that's on the other side of what this is about. That's the joy of every dollar that you are giving today.
It's really awesome. We were talking a little bit about the success of the state, and New Hampshire, this is an amazing statistic I got just about a week and a half ago, and I had to have them check it 3 times. New Hampshire was the only state in the country where more businesses, because of the investments we made, more businesses closed in 2019 than in 2020.
Really?
The number of businesses that closed in 2020 actually went down, which was amazing.
Wow.
But that was everybody leaning in. It wasn't just, the state put a lot of money in, of course, but that was also employees going the extra mile, finding that path of safety, employers pushing hard to stay open.
Right.
That's everybody coming together and saying, we're not going to let this thing beat us. This is temporary. It's a tough road to haul. We don't know when the end is, but everyone leaned into it. And so that's what you're seeing even more here today. 3.4 million you just crossed.
That's
Holy
amazing,
cow.
Governor. What's your read on the people of New Hampshire? Because you get around a whole lot, and you have definitely been around the state a lot during these difficult times. What have you seen?
Well, lately people are just excited. I mean,
Right.
there's no doubt.
Just
They're
chomping at the bit.
chomping at the bit to get out, chomping at the bit that they got their vaccinations. You know, here's a good analogy on the read. If you were at the mass vaccination sites that we did up at like New Hampshire Motor Speedway, it was like a party, right? People drove in. It was very easy to do. There's 150, 200 nurses there, and they're not just, here's your shot next, here's your shot next. It's like they're interacting with folks. It's a party. And then as people drove around to wait their 15 minutes after you get your shot, there were tears coming out, especially some of the elderly that said, I haven't seen my family and been able to hug my grandkids in so long. And it was just tears of joy, and that is really what's happening. We've gotten our vaccines, those who wanted it have it, and now the confetti, it's not just falling in the studio, it is falling everywhere across the state. And we have a lot of issues, of course. We still have lots of challenges in the state. We're not claiming victory on any of our long-term challenges just yet, but there's no doubt confetti is falling across New Hampshire. People are excited. They're giving money. It's all good, man.
And you know, there's one thing that we haven't really, we mentioned in passing, we've mentioned it, but you know, coming out of this year that was, and our healthcare professionals, if you go through and you look at the list of, you know, nonprofit organizations, there are some nonprofit hospitals and medical facilities that can benefit. So as we laud all of our medical professionals and our first responders and our nurses and our doctors, you know, this is a great way to say thank you. This is a great way to show your appreciation for what they went through. You know, I have a nurse in the family. My daughter's a nurse, so I know how hard a year it was. And there's no better way than this than to give back. And
I was on the list. I
give to
think
them.
Dartmouth. I know it's Dartmouth Hitchcock, for example, was one of the top.
That's right.
You know, it was like number 15 or something on the list, and I was like, wow. Hospitals, long-term care facilities, they're all in there. They're all nonprofits. They're all in there, and you can give to every one of them.
Right.
Pretty cool.
$3.4 million collected.
So you guys have been here for 24 hours, huh?
Never
look
left.
pretty good for it, right?
Never left.
Haven't even gotten out of the chair.
So next year, I think you should do the 24 hours.
You think so?
Because I want to see what happens at like 4 in the morning with you two.
That goes beyond
He
slapstick.
said to me, he goes, next year, you're coming with. We're going to climb up Mount Washington. I'm like, there's a road. There's a road right there.
We'll drive.
I watched the video. He's climbing. I'm like, there's a road.
You know,
it goes up the mountain.
You two could launch your own reality TV show with something like that.
I'm in.
Right?
I'm in.
Dude,
Look, I've been to COVID governor. You had to go through the candidacy and all the crazy in elections of 2020. I am up for anything. You want a reality show? I'm telling you, I would do it right now. I would do it right now.
I mean, considering what he's done in one day, you might need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
Because holy cow.
I can operate on very little sleep. Well, especially with something like, he checked in with me today and he's like, are you all right? I'm like, dude, how can you not be excited?
Yeah.
When you're in a place doing this kind of work and seeing the response that you folks are doing from home or from work or wherever you may be, it's infectious and it invigorates everybody in this room. It invigorates everybody in the nonprofits. Last night we saw that. The joy that people had on their faces out at House on Haven Hill.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was joy on faces of people because of you.
Yeah.
And we feel that just as much as they do. So thank you to all of you. And that's part of what makes living in the Granite State as special as it is.
It's different.
Yeah,
it's really different. I mean, I lived in Massachusetts for a few years. I lived in California. I lived in San Francisco for 3 years. I lived in Virginia for a couple of years. They're all nice places.
Sure.
But it ain't here, you know. And it's not just because we have our 4 seasons and it's the live for your die state and all that. It's just different. The community engagement is very different. They
agree.
don't think of it like that, like in some of these places. Everything's done on a big county scale. In Virginia, no one even knows what town they live in. Everything's a county, and I'm like, no, it's town, it's local.
Right.
I can tell you there's 1,553 people in my small little town. I know half of them, and it makes the difference, right? It really does make a difference.
It does, and all pulling in the same direction. It's just inspiring work. Well, Governor, thank you so much
you bet.
for joining us and being here for this. And
Excellent.
You were here when we crossed the threshold of beating last year's number.
In New Hampshire.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is great. Look, you guys have done awesome. Cannot thank you guys enough. There's about an hour to go, right?
Yeah, that's right.
50, what do we got
51, 54, and
51
counting on
minutes.
the big screen.
So again, everyone who's given, I know you can give a little more. Put it this way, you reach in your pocket, you give again, you ain't going to regret it.
No.
You're not going to regret it, so just do it. Make yourself feel good. Do it for yourself.
What's up with you, rest of the day? You hang gliding? What are you doing? You go
Today,
surfing? What are you
go
doing?
see some veterans this afternoon.
Oh, very nice.
We're going to go see the Veteran
Very
Service
nice.
Organizations. Another great nonprofit is bringing all the veteran nonprofits together this evening.
Very good.
Which is really great. And one thing we've tried to do is you always want to make sure the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. So in the nonprofit world tonight, Phil Taub and the folks from Swim with a Mission are bringing all the groups in. They really managed a lot of our veterans nonprofit funding through the CARES Act last year.
Phil's a good guy.
Saying, okay,
Phil does a great job.
Great job. And he's saying, okay, this group does this and this group does that. Let's not duplicate efforts here. Here's where the gap is.
Yeah.
People really managing to make sure that with all this nonprofit work, nothing is not efficient. You want to make it as efficient as possible.
Right.
And it's just great. And people get to meet each other, they get to network, and it just makes it all that much better of a system.
People are very smart about the money that they give to nonprofits. We live in a time where you can look into organizations that you want to give to make sure that they're going to use your money wisely. And across the state of New Hampshire, I don't know if there's anybody that does it better than the organizations we have here.
It's awesome. Yeah. And people don't realize, again, because we're kind of in the snow globe, right? Oh yeah, every state does it like this. People use us as a model, right? And people always call me and they'll say, a governor will call me and say, Governor Sununu, how is it? How do you do it? How do you have this kind of small, nimble government, but such a strong, how are you providing services? How are you doing it? And it's like, because it's not about government, you trust in people. You trust in each other, and you trust in the local connection that some of these small nonprofits give. The vast majority of what the government does for service is through the nonprofits, right? When we provide mental health services, we're giving our money and trusting in the nonprofits. When we provide services for opioids and addiction and recovery and alcohol and substance misuse, we're giving it to the nonprofits that lead that charge. It's not just the state of New Hampshire employees doing all the work.
Right.
We do a lot of the management and the coordination, but we really lean into those nonprofits, and the vast majority of them just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
So we just want to keep doing more.
I agree. And with Phil Taub, you get to hang out with SEAL Team 6 guys.
Pretty cool guys.
Just
That
pretty
is
cool
pretty
guys.
cool. They'll all be here this summer, right?
awesome.
Swim with the Mission will be doing their big stuff this summer. I'll be paintballing with the Navy SEALs. I end up losing on that one. I come up pretty bruised.
That's not a shot.
That's
not a
they have
shot.
a little
I gotta be
competitive
honest with you.
advantage there.
Yeah.
It's all for a good cause, though. It's all for a good cause.
Good to see you, Governor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank
you guys.
a lot.
Be good.
Appreciate it. It's great to see you. Thank you so
Governor
much.
Chris Sununu, everybody.
Governor Chris Sununu. And,
there you go. Give me a hand. There you go. Thank you.
Absolutely, Governor. Thank you. I tell you what. Why don't we kick off our final 45 to 50 minutes?
Let's go back
here.
to the beginning.
Let's start it from scratch.
All the way to the beginning.
Yes.
Our theme song done by Eric Ott is a great tune that has a lot of guest appearances in it. It's Together We Give. Here it is.
Together we live, together we give. Get ready.
Just still on the first one.
You did nail this. You nailed this. The pacing of the chair.
Yeah.
It was.
I got it. I'll nail it. I'll get it. I'll get it.
Because he has a spinny chair at work.
Think we got enough? Oh gosh. This is the part where they put other people in. Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Just sing it out loud.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
We might need a barf bucket for our live broadcast.
No, like this. No, change.
You totally did.
Stop it.
You totally did. That was absolutely perfect.
Holy crap, I feel like a weeble. We're zooming in on $3.5 million because of you making a difference, and thank you very much. And we do want to announce we have another time is ticking golden ticket prize. This is sponsored by Eversource. Now $250 goes to the nonprofit drawn from all the organizations that received a donation between 2 and 4 p.m. and the winner is the New Hampshire Teen Institute.
Yay.
So congratulations.
All right. Remember how we were talking about the other organizational matches that were out there? You jump on the website, you go to menu, go to matches. We started only at 3 o'clock
right?
with 400.
Yeah.
We're down to 265,000. So we're at a great burn rate, but we still have 45 more minutes. Get out there and get that spending, match those dollars.
That means $265,000 are still available to match the money you donate. So go to the website, click on menu, and click down to the organizational matches, and you will be able to contribute, and your money will be doubled.
That's right. And one of the recipients could be our next guest.
Yeah.
John Burns. He's the director of SOS Recovery Community Organization with locations in Dover, Hampton, and Rochester, offering peer recovery support services. And John, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about SOS and what you do out for these folks.
Thanks, and thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. So SOS is a peer-based recovery community organization. We have 3 peer recovery centers for a non-clinical program that provides support for people struggling with substance use disorder. And our centers are in Hampton, New Hampshire, Rochester, New Hampshire, as well as Dover, New Hampshire. And through those centers, we offer a variety of services. Obviously, with COVID, we shifted digitally. So we run about 7 meetings digitally every day, from 7 a.m. till about 11 p.m. for individuals to receive mutual aid through Zoom. And we do that in collaboration with a couple other organizations in Oregon and Pennsylvania. And that forum has provided 500,000 people supports over the last year.
Wow.
And then we also are involved with what we call our Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative, which is through the governor's office. And that's really going in and educating employers about substance use to provide workplaces that are supportive for both individuals as well as family members who may be affected by substance use, whether that's alcohol or problematic drug use, whatever the case may be. We want to provide supports and educate employers because we know most people are really in the workplace that struggle with substance use. And oftentimes there's a lot of stigma, which we really focus a lot of our work around.
Talking about
the
stigma, John, I was going to ask about, with the opioid epidemic that we were experiencing and maybe still experiencing to this day, substance abuse, especially when it comes to opioids, is much more recognized now because really the spider web that substance abuse has touched virtually every family in one way or another. People are much more aware of the problem. Are you finding that you're getting increased help and attention because people are more aware of it and how big the problem is? And is it helping your organization in any way that maybe there's more help for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the state and federal level over the last couple of years, we've seen a bump, an increase in some funding. I think we're still, when you look at the scope of the problem, I don't think there's many health-related issues out there, whereas many people that we've seen die of accidental overdoses would exist at the level of funding that does. So I think that stigma still remains a barrier. We're nowhere near reaching the level of resources that we need. The reality is a lot of the people that come in crisis looking for help or treatment still face wait lists of sometimes 2 to 6 weeks to get appropriate care. So that's still a big challenge and a big burden. And I think until we resolve that, we're still going to, we've got plenty of job security.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate but true. John, as we're all celebrating what is looking and feeling very much like the end of the pandemic experience for all of New Hampshire, are you seeing any trend lines moving in the right direction in terms of demand for the services? I recognize they're still high. Are they dropping off, or is this just one of these realities that we need to make sure that we embrace no matter what our circumstance externally?
Right. No, I mean, it's actually the opposite. So what we're seeing is because, really a big part of our work is that human connection and building connections and social support for people. And with the pandemic, that isolation has exacerbated the issue. So particularly, I mean, when you look at, the liquor stores have seen record sales of alcohol. And so you combine that with isolation. And although we've done a great job and we've been able to connect people digitally that we haven't otherwise been able to, so our model has changed. And I think we're going to now reach more people than we used to. The downside of that is all the people that we're not connecting with yet because they are in isolation. So I think we're going to see an upwards trend for a while here. And unfortunately, that's the sad side of this, is that it's going to take a while to kind of undo the damage of that social isolation that the pandemic brought.
John, let's actually, I want to ask about the successes that you've had, because I know you've had them. And for you, what is it like to see someone come through your doors of SOS and they're working on recovery, and you see them come into the light from the darkness? What is that? How do you feel inside when you see somebody, reach that point?
Right. I mean, so I'm a person in long-term recovery. I also have a daughter who is in recovery. And really this work, it came to me through those challenges with my daughter. And that's really what fired my passion around this, because there were so little resources. So for me, the bravest moment is for an individual to even walk through our doors and look for help, because that's such a huge step. Like, to me, those are the bravest people, and those are the most important people that we see at SOS. So too, and the majority of our staff were once people who walked through that door in that place. So that reward is just an incredible one. That's really why we do the work. And that's personally, that's what gets me up in the morning, is knowing that, every day I get to see those people that took that one brave step, and all those still out there struggling too, like just connecting with them without any expectations, I think is really critical for us. And that's part of our model, is to just really meet people where they're at. And if they're not at a point that they're able to access resources, then that's great. We're going to be here for them when they are. And I think that's really a critical piece.
John, for anybody watching this or seeing this, that may be experiencing it or knowing someone who is, how can they get in touch? Let's give the website so that people can know where you are and where to go.
Yeah, our website is www.sosrco.org. So they can go on the website. They can call us at 603-841-2350. And then we've also incorporated a feature into our website as a result of the pandemic. We have a little chat button in there. And if they click on that, one of the things we identified is oftentimes people aren't comfortable picking up the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
But they are comfortable chatting, kind of like a Facebook Messenger almost. So we have a secure channel. If they click on that, it alerts one of our staff, and we're in there in about 3 seconds having a conversation with them. So that's been a really awesome feature of our website, which again is sosrco.org.
John Burns,
thank you for offering the lifeline for people in what is many times their darkest moment. Thank you for being there for them. So thank you for the work you and everybody at SOS does. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you. And thank you for having us and being part of this New Hampshire Gives. It's
Appreciate
really
it, John.
To us.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's SOS Recovery Community Organization. And, there's a lot of, I'm glad he sort of shared that with us, because you start to assume that because we're all maybe in our mainstream and normal operating lives feeling pretty good about where we're at right now coming out of the pandemic, there are still a lot of people that are struggling.
Right.
And eliminating the stigma around this kind of challenge that people have, recognizing it's a disease and tackling it as such is helpful. And they need the resources. It's the whole reason why we're here and what we're doing.
And if you can help somebody make that first step that John talked about, that's the crucial moment, making that first step through the doors of a place like SOS or maybe another recovery facility, wherever you may be. Try do your best to get them in that direction if you can.
A worthy place to park some of those dollars. And we are closing very rapidly in on $3.5 million raised in just about 24 hours. And we're coming down to the last half hour of our 24-hour sprint here through New Hampshire Gives 2021 with 12,000 plus donors. 584 organizations that have received these dollars, a lot of matching funds that have gone through, and as of at least a few minutes ago, there were still at least a couple $100,000 in different matching organizational fundraising sidebar efforts that were happening, the organizational matches.
Right.
Those dollars are still available. So we still have some room to double your donation between now and 5 o'clock.
Yeah, the numbers are still spinning. I got to not look at them. I got to not look at them. It's stressful.
It just keeps on rolling.
It's stressful. It's like watching my heart monitor going, what is that? What is that? You know what I mean? So I got to relax. I got to relax.
It's good stuff. And I think as we're moving into the last half hour, and we'll bring our friends from the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, Kathleen Reardon, back for in a few minutes, and we have at least one more person that we can talk to in a live conversation before we begin to move to the final countdown of our 24 hours. But many kudos to our friends out here in Durham at Public Television and HPTV. They've just done an amazing job of helping turn this around, and Mary Jo Brown of Brown and Company that's really helped put the finishing touches. Kristen Oliveri, who's done amazing work herself. These folks are behind the scenes doing a lot of the work to allow us to sit here with our note cards and make it look like a party.
You know, I love that they don't want the credit.
Yeah, they do. They're super humble and quickly.
It's not about them.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's not about them. Everybody knows, all of the great volunteers that are here working and put this together, and all ththose tireless hours that they took to put all these together and line up these matches. It's not about them. It's not about Scott. It's not about me. It's not about anybody here. We're doing our job. It's about you and how you can connect with people in need throughout the state, whether it's a service, whether it's a place that offers, entertainment, or whether it's a life-saving organization like SOS. That's what all of us are here, and you are here for. So thank you very much. So I agree with you. Thanks everybody behind the scenes for doing such an amazing job. But those folks that are at the computers clicking and donating and making those matching funds, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
So you got to feel good about yourself today. I'll tell you, you deserve it.
These are great numbers. I'm by New Hampshire vernacular, I'm a flatlander.
Yeah.
Because I moved to New Hampshire back in '93. So I'm coming up on 30 years here, but I'm still
What's you got, about 10 more years to be a local?
I think so.
Is that how we run?
That's how
40,
we roll, right? Is it the 40-year rule?
The 40-year mark makes you a local.
So I'm 3/4 local.
Some people are nodding, going, yeah,
that's about
exactly right.
That's it. We got the abacus out.
Never. 3 generations.
Okay, so 3 generations.
You got a ways to go.
I got a ways to go. But my point is, in having lived in other areas of the country, like Governor Sununu talked about, I've lived in the South, I've lived in Northeast and Central New York, and there is something uniquely special about living in New Hampshire and knowing that people have your back.
Yeah.
That we have our differences of opinion, we have different interests, we go in different directions. But when it comes to a cause like this, to be able to rally around the collective, we do it so willingly and so frequently. It's a second nature component. We're a town meeting state where we gather and take on our challenges and make decisions and do it together. And we don't always agree on everything, but we sure beautifully work together. And it is, we are by far the best state in New England, and I could never imagine living anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's just a wonderful inspiration.
The governor, just a few minutes ago, Governor Chris Sununu was here, if you were watching, and he asked a point-blank question: what are you the most excited about, now that we're coming out of, this past year that we all went through? And other than, being able to see my parents, face to face and hug people, it's got to be, going to venues for live entertainment.
Yes.
And therein lies our next guest. We want to introduce you to the executive director of the Colonial Performing Arts Center, a wonderful theater in Keene, New Hampshire. Alec Doyle is joining us on video here this afternoon. Good afternoon, Alec. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
I'm
Thanks
good.
for having me on.
I'm good. We're good. I'm saying let's get him open. Let's get some shows. Let's get some performances on stage, and let's get people back out to the Colonial, right?
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
What do you got on tap?
We are looking forward to that. And what can I tell you?
What do you have on tap for this summer? I'm sure you're booking acts and getting things ready. What's it look like?
Actually, this is a very special time for the Colonial. This is like a once-in-a-century time we're going through right now. Normally, I would talk to you about our annual operations, which brings about 50,000 patrons to town. Among those, there's like 8,000 kids, their first time K through 12 students at a performance, and partnering with other local nonprofits to bring a lot of social and economic growth to the area. This year, though, we are in a capital campaign for a major renovation and overhaul of the entire theater. That's our news.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for you.
We are. What's that?
Good for you. That's fantastic news.
Absolutely. Yeah, we saw the handwriting on the wall a year ago with COVID, and decided at that point in time to take a 2-year plan and compress it into 1 year. So we are basically halfway through this renovation and adding a new venue and all of that. It's as a friend of mine said, you guys are doubling down, and we are. So far so good.
Well, it's the Colonial is historic, right? Was it 1924 that it was built?
Yes, it was 1924. We're the last historic theater actually in Cheshire County, the last remaining historic theater.
Wow.
And this, what we call the Next Act campaign, is going to get us into the next century as well. We are providing lots of upgrades to our front of house so that the audience experience is upgraded, the back of house so that the performer experience is upgraded, and also so we can bring in a broader range of entertainment and art here to the Monadnock region. So it's a huge project. The project itself, by the way, is $12.5 million. We announced, that's right, $12.5 million. Right. It's big. We announced just last week the public part of the campaign. We've been quiet up to this point. Mm-hmm. Why did we announce it? Because we have reached 71% of our goal already in the silent
Good
portion.
for you. Wow.
So we're 71% there, and now we've brought it open to the community, and we are looking to everybody to provide support for us to get us into that next century, and so that we're relevant in the future, and we continue to be the draw and the economic and social driver for this region.
In the Monadnock region, right? I mean, if you're watching us from the Monadnock region, the chances are you've probably been to the Colonial at some point to watch a show or a performance, And the one thing that I've learned in this past year is how crucial the arts are. We've talked about this over the last 24 hours here, how crucial the arts are into us feeling whole. Right? I mean, we have our family, hopefully we have food, we have a safe place to stay, but other than that, the sort of the elixir for our soul is the arts and the entertainment, that we can go out and takes us away from the issues of every day. And places like the Colonial Theater, and I'm so encouraged that you are so close to your goal. And that there gives me even more of a reason to go to nhgives.org. And since I care so much about the arts, make a donation for the Colonial Theater so you can reach that goal and get back open, and let's start getting people in there in the seats and seeing some entertainment. That's exciting news.
Yeah, it is. It's we feel good about it. We got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
We got a lot of work to do, but we got a great team. I would actually extend your last comment and say that I think that the performing arts are really a powerful resource in the post-pandemic world for both economic and social healing. You know what I'm saying? I think we are uniquely situated to both bring back the communities from an economic standpoint, because we're a core of this downtown region, and also the healing of people, because, as you said, the arts have the ability to get you out of your head and to see the world in a different way, and that's what we're going to be doing once we get things up and rolling again. So yeah, we're ready.
I also want to mention something. I've done some work up in that region, and I've also worked with some of our radio stations that have worked with the Colonial to help other nonprofits. You know what I mean? So not only are you part of the arts and entertainment community, but the Colonial has woven itself into the fabric of Keene, and that's what makes communities like Keene so great. So bravo to you and the Colonial Theater for making a difference, not just in an arts and entertainment and cultural way, but in a sustaining way with the other, nonprofits in the area. So bravo to you and your team through the years. You've done an unbelievable job.
Yeah, great. It's a big part of our mission here to be a home and support for these other nonprofits that we have these annual relationships with, to enable them to do better fundraising and to enable them to do, basically we believe that a rising tide raises all boats. So that's what we try to do.
Alec Doyle, Executive Director of the Colonial Performing Arts Center out in Keene. Thank you so much. Best of luck closing in on that last 29%. Hopefully this will help you with those endeavors, and we can't wait to see the final project at its completion.
Thank you for doing what you guys do. Thank you much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
It's so great. The Colonial in Keene, you've got theaters that have been rehabbed in Laconia, in Plymouth, that they've undergone a similar effort here during this pandemic time. People were really smart about the downtime and having the faith that folks are coming back on the other side of this thing. And they're improving or expanding facilities. The Palace Theater in Manchester just went through a whole facelift.
Yeah, when you walk into a theater, whether it's the Palace or the Music Hall or the Colonial or any of the number of theaters we have in New Hampshire, you walk into a historic place that was built in 1924, and it kind of takes your breath away. You sit there and you look up into the rafters, you look at the decorative molding around. It takes your breath away.
It's almost 100 years.
It adds to the whole experience. And I agree with what Alex said. It will certainly help in the healing process of the year we went through, to get back out there and to experience joy and laughter and music and dancing and all of that.
You do a fair amount, even though you're in a studio every morning, you do a fair amount of things on stages in these different venues. How excited are you? I mean, I've got something coming up next month at the Palace in Manchester, and I can't wait to be back in front of people again.
Scott Spradling Band playing. I'll do it. He won't do it, but I'll do it.
Exactly what I meant to be doing.
It's a big band, too. It's like 11 people. We're going to try and get him in here. Not enough room. No, I'm kidding. But we were going to try and get him in here. But no, it is.
It's going to be great to get in front of people.
It is exciting. It's one of the things I've really missed, other than going to shows, is that human interaction that you get from a stage. And working with places like the Capitol Theater, where we do our Buzz Christmas Ball. Can't wait to get back there and do that. It's as good for us on stage as it is for those in the audience.
It's almost as fun as talking to Cliff Blake from NHPBS.
I don't know as though there's anything as fun as talking to Cliff Blake from New Hampshire PBS. We're going to bring him on stage.
We're going to raise the bar right now. We're raising the bar. Our host, if you will, who has provided these retro chairs that are surprisingly comfortable and spinny, as you
are. And I just want to thank Governor Sununu for opening up for me tonight. It was just fabulous to have him here to warm up the audience. And now it's all mine.
You're going to help bring it home.
But you know what? I want to say that you guys have done, you two have done a remarkable job at reaching into the depth and breadth of what these nonprofits mean to everybody, every citizen in New Hampshire. And you talk about some of the theaters that are reopening, and everybody's excited to be back out there. And I'll tell you, the staff here at New Hampshire PBS has just been excited to have you guys here and to be able to host this event.
Oh, they're awesome.
That's great.
Thank you.
It's great. And I say to things like that, first, thank you, but it's easy when you've got good material. And we've had nothing but good material since we started this yesterday.
I know.
It's easy when you believe.
We've been very lucky because the kind of projects that we've been doing during the COVID crisis, we've had to kind of, I call it MacGyvering things together to be able to do outreach to people, to be able to tell the stories from New Hampshire about New Hampshire people. As I mentioned yesterday, to be able to do Granite State Challenge and get 20 high schools in here to compete when it could have been a year where there was no Granite State Challenge. But we constructed, part of this is the set. And it was right here where they had to stand in their plexiglass. And I'm telling you, it was like standing in a TARDIS. It was tiny, little plexiglass with their masks on, and we still completed the season. But I also want to reach out and say that not only has it been wonderful for people to give to all these nonprofits, and my heart goes out to some of the rest of the nonprofits, but the agencies that
that act on behalf of the nonprofits have acted in concert together.
Right.
Oh, there's
Yes.
that concert word again.
Yeah, there it is.
But they really, everybody holds hands for the good of everybody who lives in New Hampshire.
That's one of the great things, and that's the spirit of the state. And you know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about how many times I've said that, and it almost sounds jingoistic. But I couldn't disagree with that more, because it's not jingoistic when it's real.
Yeah.
When it's really
Absolutely
the
it is.
truth of how people in New Hampshire behave. I mean, would I say it if I wasn't from New Hampshire? Yeah, if I saw it, I would say you got to recognize that and know that it is. I mean, look, New Hampshire, not the biggest state in the country. We're past $3.5 million in 24 hours. Wow. You know, to raise for over 600 different nonprofit organizations.
And the $400,000 that we started at 3 o'clock with the other matching funds that are still available in the different matches, we're down to $191,000. Wow. So just in the last few minutes, $70,000 went by.
That's money that is still on the table.
Yeah.
Waiting to be matched. So matching your dollars. So go to the website, click on the menu, and look for the organizational matches. That's $171,000 that's there for the taking, and it doubles your donation.
And there's no more statewide matches. Those are all done. So the rest of the matches are coming from the organizations that have gone out to their sponsors, you know, to advertisers, to people in their local communities, to create these funds of matching dollars. And don't let those sit on the table. Don't let that be lost.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's exactly right. And there's still 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of time left for these matches, for these efforts. The ticker keeps on flying by with money raised. It's just inspiring.
You know, Cliff is here at NHPBS, and he does an amazing job, just as everybody does here. But he's a really well-known. I don't know if you know this. I'm not joking. He was a really well-known in country music radio because he worked with record companies, and of course he was a legendary radio guy. You know, so we might rate my radio brethren in the sense that we both worked in radio. But tell me, what is Blake Shelton like?
You know, I'll tell you one quick story. I haven't seen him for quite a while since he and Miranda got married. I went to the wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And it was quite a thing. But I used to ride around with him and go from radio station to radio station and introduce him to the program directors to get them to play his music.
Right.
And those were the days when he had, a mullet.
But
business in the front and party in the back.
Achy, breaky, big mistakey. That's the mullet right there, everybody.
No, it's been interesting fun, and you know, and I end up going from the radio career to the record career, and now working at New Hampshire PBS and working on fundraising and working with a tremendous staff. Like I said, we're a small staff, but we're very mighty.
Right.
And I think that mightiness really was on display for this event.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
No, and we appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, to sit in this chair or these chairs, as we were talking about it yesterday, everybody had everything so together.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, wow, we just left 4.5 hours of live, broadcasting, streaming, and it went as smooth as could be because of the work that the folks here at NHPBS did. So bravo again to you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Great job.
Always good
Appreciate
to
it.
see you.
Yeah,
Always good
we
to see you.
appreciate
Thanks,
everything.
guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So,
That's right. That's it. We've got, 18 minutes and 20 seconds. The countdown clock is right there with us, so we'll count it right down to 5 o'clock when the doors close on our 24 hours of New Hampshire Gives 2021.
Achy, breaky, big mistake. Come on.
Did you just come up with that?
Yep.
That was just on the fly?
It happens.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
in a couple minutes here, we want to bring back Kathleen Reardon to give us maybe a bit of an update as we close in on these last few minutes here together.
Yeah.
But it's inspirational what we've been able to do, and I mean, just shy of 13,000 donors that have jumped into the fray.
Here's what I also want to tell you. We are going till 5 o'clock. Okay. If you're going to be getting home and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to make it to 5 o'clock. I'm not going to. We'll leave it open a little bit there for you. So don't think
keep
we're
the
just,
door cracked
all right?
open just a little.
So if you're stressing and you can't get, maybe the signal isn't good enough for you to get a donation in right now, or maybe you're going to get home
because there are a
just
lot of
around
people listening in their car right now to us driving home. They're listening to this.
We're not going to close up shop and run out the door at 5 o'clock. We give you a little bit of extra time to donate because we want you to be able to be a part of this event. We want you to be able to feel the connection of helping out any one of these organizations that you feel passionate about. You know, if you're a pet lover, if you're a dog lover, we had one of the animal shelters on yesterday, and they had 2 dogs on there, and I fell in love with them.
Oh my gosh, Diana and Dorothy from the Animal Rescue League in Bedford.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I almost drove straight there last night.
But whether it's whether it's maybe a hospital that you were once treated in that is a nonprofit hospital, and maybe they helped save somebody in your life, or they treated you well, and they were really good at what they did, or if it's a theater, or any of a place that maintains trails in the White Mountains, or the Maker's Mill, where people can help work on inventions and learn tools and crafts. All of those different things are available for you to be a part of and give back to them in your local communities.
Yeah.
So.
This is a really good time too. I think when this was happening last year, it was a little bit of survival tactics. Now I think you've said we're leaning in, and we're leaning in together, and we're, I think, in a wonderful position to get these resources into the hands of people that know how to stretch them, that know how to invest them wisely, but to give them that sort of catapult move post-pandemic, so that we all have the activity, we have the resources to be able to accomplish things together. And I think this timing is perfect. And what all of you are doing out there is truly inspirational. So, we have an opportunity to perhaps take a little musical break.
Are we going to go back to the solo acoustic song from
is that the one?
yesterday?
Oh, we are.
This is
all
great.
Right.
This is our friend Adam Ezra, who, when I called him and asked him if he would help us today, I wasn't even done the sentence, and he said, "I'm in."
Yeah.
That's what he always says.
That's why you got to go to his shows,
right?
Because not only is he talented as hell, but he's that kind of a guy.
Yeah, nobody gives back like the guys in the Adam Ezra group. And here's a song that he performed, I think, in his apartment with a special message for NH Gives. Here's our friend Adam Ezra.
Hi there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam, and I wanted to take a second to tell you why I'm here today. I don't know about you, but there are a lot of things in the world that I would like to change, that I care about. And I think one of the reasons I'm often held back is that I don't feel like my contribution can have an impact. That's what I love about NH Gives. What do you care about? What do you want to change? NH Gives supports almost 600 different nonprofit organizations throughout New Hampshire. So your dollars that you donate can go to causes that you care about. And our impact is not measured by what we can do as individuals, but what we can do as a community. What we do through this is going to affect change in New Hampshire. It's going to save lives, and it's actually going to inspire others throughout the rest of the country as well. Anyways, that's why it is an honor for me to be here playing music for y'all. We'll be alright today. Yesterday we're fall, and we are together now in the midst of it all, and we'll be alright today. We'll be alright today. our failures and celebrations together. Rise together, rise and fall. All our doubt and inspiration, all our darkness and elation together. Rise together, rise together. We bleed, we mend, we get back up and we bleed again. We rise, we fall, stand together through it all. Yeah, we'll be alright today. We'll be alright today. Now we'll be alright today. We'll be alright today.
There you go.
Man. Great
All right
talent.
today. Yeah, that message was spawned, obviously, coming out of the pandemic. That's a song he wrote, I think he wrote during the pandemic. I know it came out post-pandemic, just barely, but I mean, that's kind of how everybody feels. We'll be all right. We'll be all right today. So we're sitting here 23 hours into a 24-hour, sojourn, and we're at $3,612,000. Like, I got to tell you, we're going to come really close. Yeah. Really close.
Yeah, we're closing in.
I think we can do it.
Rapidly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're in the neighborhood. And here's a little added incentive.
It's a nice neighborhood to be in, right? I got to tell you.
And here's some added incentive, kids. We still have $179,000 in those matching funds that are still sitting on the site right now. So I'm no math major, but that pretty much closes the deal. If we can just use up the match money, we're there. We're at $4 million.
And the numbers are flying by, and it's very difficult not to look at because the amount that you've given is amazing, but we are knocking on the door of an incredible number that it was almost mind blowing to even anticipate. And Kathleen Reardon from the Center of New Hampshire Center for New Hampshire Nonprofits is here, and you've got to feel that too, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, I can't stop watching that ticker. I mean, it's amazing.
I know.
We're also just shy of 13,000 individual donors that have participated in this as well.
You know, the other thing that's interesting, a lot of people donate twice or to multiple organizations, and that doesn't even capture that. So there's that many more donations. That's unique donors.
That's really good.
So,
and I mean, when you talk about that number, now we just hit 13,001 donors, which is fantastic. And that's not 13,000 people. That's 13,000 families. Because this is not the kind of decision and operation that just happens on a whim. These are people that are connected to other folks in the community.
Sure.
This is a much bigger number.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
And when you watch and you start to think about, how close you are, I mean, we're sitting there and you could pick up that phone and make another $5, $10, $20 donation, and like-minded individuals out there amongst those 13,000 people make the same move.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden that 4 number is not that unreachable.
No.
Right? And what we've already accomplished here today, at what you have accomplished at home, is already a major success. And I'm not looking at and saying, hey, what we've done isn't great. Yeah. It's just that it's beyond mind-boggling.
That's great.
In a state our size, to be able to do this in 24 hours, and that's because you folks at home care.
And Kathleen, what does this mean for the many nonprofits that you represent and work with? You know these folks. I mean, the people we've been talking to are people, you know them as friends and colleagues. What is this doing for them?
Well, I got a response to one of my posts just a little while ago saying this is really validating for the whole nonprofit sector, right? So, I mean, the money is invaluable. We've heard all the great stories about how it puts food on the table. It will open doors to theaters and all of these things. But I think the spirit of today, too, is really reminding people about how important nonprofits are. And so for the many employees and volunteers that are connected to nonprofits, this is a boost. This is a huge morale boost and really exciting for everyone.
Anything that you can do to boost what they call it in radio, they call it top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have things, oh yes, I've heard of that. I know what they do. I sat here over the last day and learned about things, learned about organizations and nonprofits that I didn't previously hadn't heard about. And it's not because I'm not aware, it's because maybe they're in a part of the state that's far away from where I live, but learning about them and knowing that they exist, it's like, wow, there are people out there doing great work for unbelievable causes, you know, and that goes for everybody that's watched this.
Well, and I think there's so many things that we don't even think about are part of the nonprofit sector, right? So you go on the White Mountain trails all the time, right? But do you think about the fact that there's a trail association that's doing all those things? And so many of the nonprofit organizations, they're just, you know, rolling up their sleeves, doing the works, making our community stronger. And, you know, so we want to try and make sure everyone understands that that's part of our community is the nonprofit sector.
And you go from the trails, and then you go to, you know, watching a room full of new moms, you know, that are struggling with substance abuse and recovery, and they've got beautiful babies, and they're all smiling, and the babies are beautiful, and I'm crying over here because it was so beautiful. And knowing that, you know, the money that's given today goes to places like that, it's very touching.
We have a broad tapestry of this foundation of nonprofit activity too. I mean, there seems to be, and maybe it's the New England spirit of collaboration and volunteerism, but it's a remarkable broad cross-section of different activities and people doing different things. Literally any individual interest is represented in the nonprofit community of people that are giving back to others. It's wonderful.
I mean, and the governor said it too. I mean, in New Hampshire, we really rely on our nonprofit sector much more deeply than others. And so we're working in partnership with government, partnering with businesses, and of course, you know, it's all about people coming together. We've heard those stories of people like they see something that they want to make a difference on, and make it happen.
And they could be the tip of the spear, like our friend up in the North Country was talking about the senior services. And you think about the fact that these volunteers working for this nonprofit may very well be the only point of contact that individuals in our state living alone in their older years may come in regular contact with, to catch up with, to check in on well-being, to make sure they're eating, to make sure that they have what they need to maintain that independence.
To have a conversation with.
Something.
Right?
Something. I mean, that's a lifeline. That's not just a, hey, here's a thing to make your life a little bit easier.
Right.
This is life-sustaining activity.
Absolutely.
To your point, these nonprofits are really deeply involved in our day-to-day lives and lifestyle.
Yeah, they're on the front line of so many issues that are really impacting a lot of people.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of feedback? I mean, after a day like yesterday, like you talked about one of your friends that reached out to you. You know, what other kind of feedback do you hear in the wake of, because you did this last year, in the days that follow? The glow, I'm sure, from this day lasts for a while. You've got to be hearing about it for a while.
Oh yeah, I got another email and the subject line was euphoria. It's from a small organization, right? And so they've gotten more than 200 donors that have come around their cause, and I think that it's really empowering, and it makes us all feel pretty good. And you know, for donors too. It's exciting to be part of something like this, and everyone feels really good.
And there's a sense of listen, there's a little bit of a sense of competition at this annual event, 6 years strong. Last year, $3.372 million was raised in the early stages of our pandemic, an incredible number. And now this year, we're at 3.6 million and counting, and we're still technically coming out. We haven't all gotten back to our rhythms and routines yet, and yet all of you have just done an amazing job of digging deep and being generous and giving to these so many different causes. It's wonderful.
So we're 3 minutes away from 5 o'clock, which is technically the deadline, right? It's technically, come on, do we have to stick by technicalities? I mean, really.
We're all family here.
So if you are, if you're thinking, oh my God, they're going to stop in like 3 minutes, I'm not going to make it, rest assured, no, we're not going to be giving up on you, okay? The website will be open. It will still be up for a period of time after. We appreciate anything that you can do. It's one of those things that will last longer than this physical streaming broadcast, right? And the thinking that this day has given, whether it's being an awareness of nonprofits or your ability to give to them or wanting to reach out and help or maybe volunteer, is the kind of thing that lasts far longer than this 24 hours.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. The impact of the dollars. I mean, we've heard it. We've heard a lot of the things that are going to go on way beyond this 24 hours.
It's wonderful. So we're closing in, as you can see on the countdown clock, just under 2 minutes before we've hit the 24-hour mark. And again, we just have to say a profuse thank you to all of you for joining us, for watching, for maybe learning a few things about what different nonprofits are that are out there, that are doing maybe the day-to-day work that you had no idea that they were doing in different areas of the state. Hopefully we've enticed and encouraged you to spend some time this summer to go explore some of these wonderful places and meet some of these very special people that are doing these great things for our state of New Hampshire. And Kathleen Reardon, many thanks to you and the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits for helping put this thing together and being the backbone of this operation, because these dollars, as we know, are going to go so far and do such incredibly special things for our residents.
And I have such profound gratitude for the nonprofits and all of the people that have been connected to this.
And pride.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, wow, how proud I am to be from this state, to be in a state where people care that much. You know, we're a little state, you know, by size standards in that regard, but man, when it comes to matters of the heart, I don't know if there's any bigger. So that's pretty great.
1.3 million residents that just donated $3.6 million in essentially one calendar day.
Right.
That's just an amazing feat.
Right.
And so many folks have benefited from this as we start to tick down to our final deadline with just over 30 seconds to go to get to our 24 hours of New Hampshire Gives 2021.
And it's still going.
But that's it. The
Look at
numbers
them
just
go.
keep on moving. They just jump up. All of a sudden, it's a big jump. 13,124 donors, 584 organizations, and 3,666,950. There it
You
goes.
can't keep up with it. You can't.
What's the point?
You gotta put a piece of tape
You gotta
over that so I
talk
can't
faster.
see it.
Where's that
You know?
auction thing
That's
going?
it. Exactly. Right. See, that's it. That's it.
8, there you go.
7, 6, 5, 4.
Closing time,
3,
almost.
2, 1, and we're there.
There it is.
The confetti flies.
Look at
Thank you so much, New Hampshire, for almost $3.7 million donated, and the numbers
We're going to hit
keep
3.7. We're not leaving until I hit 3.7.
Okay, we got
come on. I'm not
20,000
leaving
to
until
go.
we hit 3.7. We're right there. Okay, come on now.
We're almost there. Just click donate. We're almost there. And remember,
I know you can do it. I know you're not done.
And the matching funds. The matching funds can still get us to $4 million.
Absolutely.
We'll go to overtime.
We got a little bit further to go. We've got
That's it.
$20,000, $19,000 to go, and we can do 3.7. And then don't forget, the website's going to stay open. It's not. We're going to leave it open for a little while for you.
We've got some
and we've got prizes that we're going to award too.
We're not
going anywhere.
Business. We have some stuff that we have to take care of, and a few folks to recognize, and a few things to give back to all of you who've given so much to us.
We're not done. We're right there. We're knocking on 3.7. Come on, you can do it, New Hampshire. You can do it. I have faith in you. They're all nervous now because I threw down the gauntlet. So everybody's nervous,
right? So at this point, as we say thank you for this extremely successful 24 hours of New Hampshire Gives for 2021. We really are tallying a few things, because there were some last clicks that are capturing our attention for these prizes, and I think we've got about a dozen that we'll read off in the next few minutes. Kristen Oliveri is back behind the camera with her team.
I can tell you a little bit about the
Please
prizes
do.
if it's
Yeah.
helpful,
Oh,
right?
please do.
So we have, they're called the Power of Many prizes.
Okay.
And so we'll have a prize for the organization that raised the most money overall.
Okay.
That had the most donors overall. And then we'll have those on each region as well. So in the Monadnock region, the organization that raised the most dollars or the most donors. So
Excellent.
again, it's showing and reinforcing, of course the dollars are really important and vital, but also the broad level of support for nonprofits. So it's going to be exciting to hear who's people I'm sure have been watching the leaderboard and have a sense of some of them that are going along.
I do like the sort of sense of competition.
Yes.
You know, because look, nonprofit dollars, there's in any state, in any given place, there's only so many nonprofit dollars that can go around. And like any other thing, you want to, you know, for your organization, you want to sort of do as much as you can to not only get the message out, but to improve your situation. And yet, at the same time, when that competition, that level of competition does exist, there's also a interconnectedness between all of them, where they are supportive of each other, and that's pretty special.
That's what I really love about
Yeah.
it, right? Is because even you've seen on social media people say, "Give to us, give to New Hampshire Gives,"
Yeah.
to any nonprofit in our community, and they've had all of these conversations. I think that is one thing too. In the pandemic, we have seen lots of organizations who've already collaborated, but coming together in really astounding ways. And
Right.
so, and this day showcases that really well as well.
Right. There's a lot of great overlap of good vibes and hard work that happens around here.
Yeah.
Well, they all win after a day like today, you know. So that's great.
I feel like we've made new friends over the course of these last 24 hours. You
Mhm.
know, New Hampshire's a beautifully small state, interconnected. You kind of tend to start knowing a lot of people, and you know, no matter what town you drift into, okay, I know people around here, and yet with this experience, new doors have opened, and it's wonderful because it's going to lead to a fun, new, exciting to-do list to be able to enjoy these activities.
We're $3,500 away from $3.7 million. Okay, that's all I'm saying. $3,500. Okay, I'm
that
telling you, we're
close.
going to hit it. We're going to be giving away some prizes here in just a little bit. Before we're done, we're going to hit that number.
Yep,
That's,
I'm feeling good about it.
That's amazing. Bold prediction on my part, by the way. Bold.
Yes, yeah,
Bold,
the final
okay?
3,000, 2,000 at this point.
Let's go
Yeah,
back
it's
to
just going so
let's
fast.
go back to the way we started it all
do
off,
it.
because this is that earworm song Eric Ott put together, and it's a lovely video featuring a lot of nonprofit organization members and a couple of special appearances you might recognize. This is Together We Give. This is our theme song video.
Together we live. Together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we live. Together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we live. Together, New Hampshire gives. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand. Together we give. Together we stand. Together we give a helping hand.
She's still on the first one.
You did nail this. You nailed this. The pacing of the chair.
Yeah. It was. I got it. I'll nail it. I'll get it. I'll get it.
Because he has a spinny chair at work.
Think we got enough? Oh gosh. This is the part where they put other people in. Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Just singing out loud.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
We might need a barf bucket for our live broadcast.
Like this. No, change.
You totally did.
Stop it.
You totally did. That was absolutely perfect.
Holy crap, I feel like a weeble. We did it. 3.7 million right there, baby.
folks.
So thank you so much.
Great stuff.
Thank
Congratulations
you. Awesome,
to all of you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
It's just wonderful. And Kristen Oliveri is here handing us our final announcements for the different prizes. Are you going to help us out with this?
I'm going to help out
You
with
should.
a couple of them.
Good,
and I did
please
this
do.
last year with my daughter Stella when we were stuck at home. And I wish that she were here with me
Yeah.
tonight so she could do this, but
She's here in spirit.
yeah, she is.
All right.
So these are the Power of Many prizes.
Okay.
These are sponsored by the Charitable Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most dollars raised, we have $1,000 that will go to Manchester Moves.
Nice. Wow,
So
congratulations.
congratulations.
Good for them.
And then the Power of Many prize for most donors. We have $1,000 going to the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire.
Nice.
So
Congrats.
congratulations to
great.
Manchester Moves and Black Heritage Trail.
So that's the overall. Those are the overall top
Overall top for,
money getters
yes, for
and
New
number of
Hampshire
donors.
gift. Yes.
Wow, that's
and now
fantastic.
we have a bunch of prizes that are
Yeah, the
regionally
regional.
focused.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
start
go
in.
for
I'll
it.
start in the Monadnock region. The prize for the most donors in the Monadnock region, sponsored by CNS Wholesale Grocers, $250 goes to the River Center. So congratulations. Also, the most dollars in the Monadnock region, also sponsored by CNS Wholesale Grocers, another $250 goes to the Cornucopia Project. So congratulations. Go ahead.
Awesome. Let's go to the Seacoast region, shall we? So the prize for the most donors, sponsored by Consolidated Communications, $250 to Our Place. And the prize for the most dollars out in the Seacoast, also sponsored by our friends at Consolidated Communication, another $250 going to Friends in Action.
We're going to take it on over, to the Merrimack Valley now. They're telling me to go to the Merrimack Valley.
Please do.
Okay, that's where we're going to go.
Yep.
The prize for the most donors in the Merrimack Valley, sponsored by Chase for Business, $250 goes to the Granite State Dog Recovery. So congratulations. And the prize for most dollars in the Merrimack Valley, sponsored by Chase for Business, $250 go to the beautiful Canterbury Shaker Village. So,
You know what part of the state I love, Greg?
where are we going, Scott?
Greg, I love the Lakes region, and I love the North Country.
Who doesn't?
So maybe I should just, I don't know, combine the two.
Why don't you amble on over there, brother?
Let's sashay over to the prize for the most donors for the Lakes and North Country region, $250 to the Colonial Theater. Congratulations to them. And the prize for most dollars for Lakes and North Country region, $250 to our friends at Camp Wanakee.
Nice. Congratulations.
Good job. That's awesome.
Up in the, if you go to the up where we are, you go up a little bit, you take a left, you bang right next to Vermont.
Left.
You got the Upper Valley region, and that's where we're going next.
Watch out for the S turns there.
Yeah, there's a couple of tight ones there.
Watch that.
Prize for the most donors for the Upper Valley region is the $250 to Visions for Creative Housing Solutions. So congratulations to you. And prize for the most dollars from the Upper Valley region, $250 to the Friends of Moscoma Foundation.
My handwriting is messy.
Wonderful organization.
Well, you did it really fast.
Started by a group of parents in the school system up there to help out and help make it a better experience for
That's
teachers and students.
inspiring.
Really a great program. So,
awesome.
There you go.
Good stuff.
So-
Is that everything? Is that
Yeah.
all of it?
That
Is this-
is, but we have
But we have
a couple
more.
more prizes.
We have a couple more prizes, and there goes
Kathleen's gonna help
Kristen and Kathleen. Okay, so
I didn't really get a chance to use the fireworks thing, like, you know.
There we go. That's what we needed for the confetti. Would have been good. This
I can pretend.
I like it.
I can
It's
pretend.
good stuff. And how about
the clap track? We've got claps. I don't know what that. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was.
What is that? Oh,
there you go.
We do
look at
things. We do things big.
Yes,
New
very
Hampshire
big.
Gives.
What is this?
A little thank you.
Oh my God.
Just a little thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So you'll always remember those.
That is most certainly us.
Yeah.
There we are.
That's actually
All of our
totally
glory.
us, actually.
It is.
Really.
And
Yeah.
anyone who has spent
Thank
more
you.
than 3 minutes with us knows
That's
this
beautiful.
is exactly
Look at
how
that.
we are. Thank you for this.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
incredibly
That's very
thoughtful.
nice.
Say, no, it's all right. Kristen,
Beautiful.
thank you so much. This is perfect.
This is what
We love
newspaper
it.
photographers would call the grip and grid.
Very good. That's exactly right. So there's
you
our
go.
photo op. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. That's very kind.
That
Thank
look-
you so much.
that look
I expect you to
good.
put that right next to your bed.
I'm just kidding. Is there any other place to get right next to the bed? Thank you very much.
Valerie will love that.
That's lovely.
That is wonderful.
It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Absolutely.
To be here and to be part of such a great community of nonprofit organizations that help each other, and a great community of people and residents in the state of the Granite State who really care about their neighbors and will reach out and make a difference in their lives.
Yep.
And that's what you did today.
That's right.
So thank you.
Yes.
So-
Still going.
The ticker keeps continuing with 3.7 million and counting, more than 13,000 donors, 584 organizations received your donations, and that puts a wrap on New Hampshire Gives 2021, and we are so deeply, deeply honored to have been able to participate in this from soup to nuts over the last 24 hours, and our kudos to all of you. Thank you for once again showing that we are best state in the nation to live, and it's just a wonderful community. Thank you.
So, Kathleen, thank you very much. Wonderful job.
Mary Jo.
Kristen, Mary
same.
Jo.
Absolutely.
Everybody, great
Yep.
job.
It's been
Everybody,
great.
all you guys here at NHPBS, thank you very
Yes,
much.
absolutely.
And thank you, especially. And we're going to we'll bid our goodbyes to you through a video. That's what we're going to do.
Closing video.
So thank you very much.
Yes.
Love the Granite State. Thank you. Love you all.
So
Thank
long.
you.
Thank you.
Together we live. Together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we live. Together we give. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Get ready to give. Ready, set, give. Together we can do this. Together we